First of all, thanks everyone for joining, and even thanks for the people who will be joining from now on. I'm very much pleased to introduce Mr. Vikash Mishra. He's serving as Undersecretary, Department of Science and Technology, and he is right now associated with National Aeronautical Laboratories, and he has 2 decades of experience in this particular field. When I heard him for the first time, he told me that he wrote mains in the year 2001 and 2002, and he was successful enough to go to the interview. And he told by name also the person who had got the first rank then, that is Vijay Lakshmi Bidri, that is from Karnataka. He fondly shared his experience also. But again, being that side of the line, it is also experienced by me too. Like, it feels how, I don't know, fortunate or unfortunate to be on that side of the line. But you people should not think the way we are thinking right now, me or the Vikash Mishra sir. It is always to cross that line. No matter how thin that is, how thick that is, you have to cross that line. That is why you are here. And one more introduction that I want to give about him. Like, he has written 7 books into different genres. Maybe it is with respect to leadership, maybe it is with respect to healing. He has written 7 of them, and I am eagerly waiting to read them in my busy schedule. And the third thing is, he's a healer. He's a healer. He has visited our institution thrice, if I'm not wrong. And when I was there, after that also he had taken a couple of classes. And what I have felt in him is that UPSC thing has never been out of his mind and body. So he always feels that he is the innermost person when it comes to learning. And he keeps on checking the papers every year, and he keeps on connecting the trend, like how UPSC is being dynamic. So that is the most interesting thing in him, what I have found. And coming to the very closest clue, if you look at the question papers that you have solved recently, that is polity or economy, some people told, sir, these questions are special. Like, don't know like from where they have come. And I should confess to the aspirants that I told that I'll make the questions and post. But this time I got the polity and economy questions done by him. Okay, I had given him the areas, and he made the questions for you people, and that is where you are seeing the a depth in those questions. Okay, and this is what you have to prepare. When you prepare for such things, and the way the UPSC is asking these days, most generic questions, you will feel like that is a cakewalk. So that is why he said such a paper. Now I think this introduction is enough, and you will have to know him by his own words. Sir, over to you, sir. Everything is yours now.
Thank you, Mr. Vijay, for such an illustrious introduction. I'm not kind of used to it, but thank you. Basically, what I feel that when I tell not many people that I have been guarding students preparing for civil services for last 23 years. So generally they have got an impression of that some old man coming to teach them or guide. And when they meet me, they generally don't believe. So it's like the blowing my own trumpet, which is not part of the discussion today. What I believe that UPSC is a different kind of examination. UPSC conducts different type of examination. I'm concerned about the civil services mains examination. That if you are fully focused, if you have given a couple of years to this examination, it becomes a part of your DNA. However hard you might try to extricate it out of your system, it would not go. Thing is that, moreover, because all of a sudden you are exposed to so many areas of disciplines. If you say you talk of history, Indian history, world history, medieval, ancient, modern, world geography, physical geography, economics as a discipline, economics, animal husbandry, agriculture, science and technology, what not. That is the thing. Once it gets embedded into your system, and then you flow with the system. There are 2 aspects. One aspect is that once you have been there, you have touched the gate, and then you feel that whatever you have learned, whatever the do's and the don'ts, whatever, it needs to be disseminated amongst those aspirants. So this was basically my philosophy of life, that I started holding class session for the civil services aspirants when I merely had turned 24. So from 24 to so many years have gone down, so many cities I have been to, I keep sharing because the examination is having its own dynamics. Unless and until you follow the dynamics, you are out of the system. Good thing about all of you, those who are writing mains this year, the best thing what has happened, in our days, it was kind of unstructured. But nowadays, it's a fully structured. So this way they are lucky that coming from the unstructured aspects of the entire syllabi to the structured aspect of syllabi. Another thing, from two optionals, you have got one optional, right? The essay paper gives you enough leverage and liberty to let your imagination run in a rational and logical way. So there are so many aspects. I'm going to talk about it. And again, I would repeat myself that it's not like the top-down session. I would want whatever things you have been facing, any area, any part of your preparation, even some generic aspects about your optionals, feel free to ask me the questions. Okay. The questions what I prepared for Indian polity and Indian economy, even you have not been able to handle all of them, is good enough. All I want you to expose to that level of knowledge. I want you to expose to that level of knowledge that when you go and actually write the mains paper, it becomes too easier for you. It becomes like a cakewalk for you. Since you are exposed to that rigorous questions or the rigorous discipline, that the mains should not pose any kind of problems for you. That has always been my objective in preparing the model questions answers for you, right? Now coming to, though I don't believe in preparing any PPTs, but I was told that, okay, this helps the students to connect. You would not find anything extraordinary, something you have been hearing a lot, you have been reading about a lot, but few things. Who will tell me, how many of you have read the Hindu edition today? How many of you managed to find time to read the Hindu today?
Sir, I haven't yet. I'll read in the night actually.
Okay, you like to read during night. So I have a small presentation I have prepared, but I don't think I would be able to share the screen with you because I'm not technically that competent. And let me see if I can do that. Okay. See, are you able to see me? Hello? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You are visible. Yes.
Okay, I am visible, but I think I am not able to see it because I have opened this PPT, the presentations, right?
Sir, you have to press the button present now.
Which button?
Sir, there is a mic, there is a camera, there is a CC, then there is one up arrow mark that you have to click.
Okay, I have clicked it, and then
yeah,
we have this.
You say entire screen.
Okay.
Then you go to your PPT.
Entire screen, but I can't see my PPT here.
Sir, you open your PPT in your laptop only.
Yeah, that's open.
Is it?
That's open.
Then you have to press on that your entire screen, sir. That up arrow button.
Okay.
And the entire screen.
Okay, let me see whether it works. I think I can't see it. My PPT is open on my desktop, my laptop, and I have done it the way you have asked me to do it. Okay, not an issue. Let it be. At least I have got an access.
You send your PPT. Is it in Telegram or WhatsApp, sir? Or it is on mail? Send it to me. I'll display for you.
Okay. One sec.
I think you have not logged in companion mode, sir.
Yeah, I certainly did not log in through that.
You send it to me, sir. I'll display.
I'm just sending it over to you. One sec.
Yes, through what, sir?
Through WhatsApp, I'm trying to send.
Yes,
sir. Is it possible? Mr. I think I have sent it to you. Check your WhatsApp. I think you have got it.
You can start briefing. Meanwhile, I will dismiss it.
Okay, fine. Okay. So all those candidates, Chandan, you can turn off your camera. That's okay. Okay. If you're finding it inconvenience, you can turn it off. No problem.
No, sir, it's fine.
Okay. So what I was talking about, the entire mains pattern, that you have got 4 papers. The few generic aspects that I would want to discuss with each one of you. The most important thing that you have got around 7 weeks left before your mains begin, right? The 7 weeks. Now you have to strategize all your 7 weeks in such a way that your preparation remains exhaustive as far as the GS, essay, and optional are concerned. Okay. You have to divide all your timing into such a way. How many of you can claim to have gone through the entire syllabus of general studies till now? How many of you? Those who can claim that they have actually read all the topics what is mentioned in general studies syllabus. Anybody? Let us interact. Because this is the high time. By now, you must have completed all parts of general studies. At least 1 or 2 readings must have been completed. Because there are 3 types of candidates writing mains. One category of candidates who have got through PT and those who are getting a chance to write mains. But they are ignorant about it. They have no idea about what kind of Leviathan it would appear or it would look like. Okay. Those candidates generally, I would not say the first timers, all the first timer candidates, they fritter away their this opportunity. I would not say this would not be a blanket statement. But most of the candidates, those who are writing for the first time, if they have not completed the complete syllabus of mains by this time, now they will have to double up their speed of completion of the syllabus. One thing, very important. Secondly, those who have written mains previously, they have got an idea about it, that what kind of questions are appearing, what is the part of the syllabus, how they are going to handle it, what are the important areas that they need to focus on. These are those who are already experienced. The third category of candidates, we call them the veteran category, those who have written more than 2 or 3 mains. They know ins and outs of the entire exam pattern. So for them, they are having a lot of edge because they understand the pattern, they understand the techniques, and they also have got hundreds of hours about their writing the answers. Okay. So these are the 3 categories. I would say that all of them are to be kept on the same pedestal because it depends upon the individual approach and attitude, how they are going to see the next 50 days. Or I would say the next 7 weeks are going to be very, very, very crucial for them. One message for all of you, do not fritter away the opportunity. This opportunity is not very easy to come by. Don't fritter away the opportunity. Make the most of the time what you have. Generally, I prefer that candidates writing mains at this stage when you are only 7 weeks away from the examination must spend at least how many hours? 12 hours. 12 hours. Right now, your purpose would be 6 hours of general studies, 6 hours of general studies, at least 4 hours of optional, and 2 hours of miscellaneous studies. Miscellaneous studies means the newspapers, yes. Yeah.
Sir, sorry to interrupt. Sir, I have not received this thing. Better you continue just like what you are doing, sir. No.
Okay, so fine.
Yes.
So where I was?
12 hours.
Two miscellaneous.
Yeah, about the timing, how many hours you need to devote. Those who are studying less than that may not be able to do that well, because I'll be very blunt in telling you, because the quantum of the preparation, the kind of strategies which are needed, it would not be completed if you are spending less than 12 hours on your studies. Though there might be certain people that who might be spending less time in studying because the syllabus itself is so huge, right? The one thing that those who have joined me later, I would like to repeat what I discussed with some of you who joined initially, that right now this is the time where you have to take a call on what not to study, because there is a total, completely asymmetrical flow of information floating around you. Completely asymmetrical. You are having a bunch of books, plenty of materials. What to choose, what not to choose, that's a very important question. And this is the time where I would say that do not put more number of volumes into what you have already studied. Because after 4 weeks, what you would need, the only one thing that would be the revision. One input. Do not try to mingle two things. What is the knowledge and information? The candidates, basically what happened while writing answers or while preparing answers for mains examination, they tend to put a lot of information what is not needed. Okay. So firstly, what you have to do, try to understand the soul and the nature of the question. You read the question twice or thrice and then don't give what you know. Try to give what UPSC needs, what UPSC is seeking. Good thing about it, nowadays, almost all your questions are opinion based. The UPSC is respecting the individual opinion, but your individual should not go haywire. Your individual should not be, your opinion should not be totally out of the sync with the ground reality, or it should not be totally out of the sync with the what we call the rationality. Right now, this is the time you have to find a balance between what you have already studied, what has already been studied, and whatever new materials you are going to add. Reduce the quantum of new materials, and whatever you have already studied, try to focus on that. 3 qualities, what I say is very important. One is the ability of your recapitulation. How many of you understand that? How many of you have been given or blessed with a good memory? I want to hear from some of you. Ability of recapitulation, one thing, analysis and lucid expression. And how will it come through? It would come through when you are having at least 30 to 45 minutes writing or attempting to write mains GS questions. Good thing is that you are a part of Manifest IS. So they are going to keep you occupied with number of model questions and the full length question. This way, what you are going to learn, that you are going to hone your writing skills. Some of the scripts I have got a chance to read. All of you write quite well. But while writing, you have to have one very important thing on the back of your mind, that whatever answers you are writing in your examination hall. Remember, my dear friends, one very important thing that all of you carry on the back of your mind, that you might be a scholar of your area, but whatever you are trying to reproduce during that 3 hours in the examination will get you a rank, nothing else. So try to be very objectify your answers. Try to be as rational as possible. Try to understand the questions, and while you are trying to understand the question, trying to go deeper, trying to decipher what we call quintessential essence and the soul of the questions. In the latter part, I will discuss about all the papers one by one. So these are some of the basic things what you can carry or keep in your mind while preparing for mains. If you have heard about it, there is a strategy called the crust, mantle, and core strategy. Has anybody heard about it?
No, sir.
The crust, mantle, and core strategy for the students writing mains. Crust is you are merely scratching the surface of your areas. You are merely scratching the surface of your optional. You are merely scratching the surface of your general studies or the topics. So what you have to do, you have to traverse, because the scratching the surface or the crust phase, just give me a second, is a kind of over. So this is a time you are into the mantle, M-A-N-T-L-E, mantle level, where you have to traverse from the mental to the core level of your preparation. That depends. When you pick up the topics, you have got all the topics, the syllabus on your table. Then you try to mark out those areas which are not so significant. I would not say insignificant, which are not so significant. You have to mark, underline those topics. This is your mental strategy. From this mental, after having spent 4 weeks, next 4 weeks that you are going to do on this mental level of your preparation, scanning the syllabus of your entire general studies, then when you are left with only 20 to 25 days during the last 3 weeks, you have to travel towards your core strategy. Core strategy means that you have to now stick yourself to only 40 to 50% of the syllabus, not more than that. Okay, 40 to 50%. And rest of the topics of which you have brushed yourself with, you have got the basic ideas about the topic, but you know that the topics from these areas are never ever going to appear for in this mains examinations. So what will happen? That this core mental and core strategy, you have to follow it to the fullest. Anybody having any question? See, Mr.
Yes, sir.
I want to hear from some of the students, because I told you that I'm not very fond of presenting or going and speak. Because
sir, basically most of them sit in the reading rooms and they can't talk louder there. And the people who are sitting at the comfort of their rooms, they can interact with sir. And one more request, sir, just look at the like the outside screen. There must be some request pending.
Yeah, I have checked it. There's no request pending. Yeah, I think everybody is in.
Yes.
So yeah.
So those who are in their rooms, they can interact.
Those who are in the comfort, I would say in the confines, rather than comfort, I would say at this stage, the confines of your study place, confines of your rooms are very much needed. My dear friend, take this opportunity very seriously, okay? Because I have been getting calls from Lucknow, from Delhi, from my candidates. So some of the candidates are still groping in the dark. They are asking me, sir, can you scan the syllabus for me? Can you scan the syllabus for me so I can leave 50 or 60% of the syllabus? Yes, you can leave 50 or 60% of the syllabus, provided you have gone through the entire syllabus at least once or twice. So when that stage you have not crossed, each candidate has to cross that stage. Then only they'll be able to do it single-handedly, or what they feel that without having studied the syllabus, they are going to scan the syllabus. Next is, when you see the syllabus, all my dear students, please listen to this. This is very important. I think whatever I'm doing is kind of important only. The syllabus, when you see you keep the syllabus on one hand and the type of questions which are appearing on the other hand, then you will feel that this syllabus is merely the facades, only the exterior aspect of the questions which are appearing. The one question which I often discuss with during this sort of session, like one question appeared in one of the optionals, that corruption is desirable for development. This question was thrown at the face of the candidate, that how is corruption desirable for development, and the candidates were asked to substantiate with arguments. Now here, the UPSC is throwing something at you, but while picking it up or while picking the gauntlet to prepare for it, you have to be very careful, because some kind of allurement has been thrown at you, but while you are writing the answers, you cannot say, yes, corruption is fully desirable because we need development at this stage. You have to be totally practical about it. However be the cost of delaying of the development process, the corruption or the promotion of corruption would not be desirable. These sort of questions, while I was seeing the last 5 years question on ethics, the GS4, what I found, there were a number of questions throwing some kind of ethical dilemma at you. When those ethical dilemmas are being thrown at you, do not let your personal, remember this, please be very careful. I'm dissecting the entire GS pattern. Do be very careful, because all your personal preferences, personal biases, personal predilections, liking and dislikings. My dear friend, there's your personal things which you may be holding deeper in your heart should not color your answers. I give you an example. A question came in mains. That discussed the reasons behind growth of communalism. One of my students wrote everything what he has been reading about in local newspapers. Everything that he knew. Something that should not have been reproduced in the examination hall also he knew. The candidate had appeared twice for interview before this attempt, and he got only 30% of the total marks. Okay, so be very careful, because these sort of things, the questions are being framed, but only your opinion matters. When your opinion matters, your opinion has to be weighed on the anvil of rationality and logicality. Do not let your personal opinion or the personal bias color it, and try to strike the balance between content and expression. Okay, now few more things. Remember, if you compare during last when we opened up our economy, we became the tool of liberalization, privatization, and globalization. Lot many things have changed. Keep these parameters very much relevant in your mind while framing or writing answers for GS mains particularly. This is what is UPSC is looking at. You don't have to write like a 20th century public servant, because here the public servant, the role and the gambit of activities they are supposed to handle have undergone a sea change, a completely unprecedented. Right now, an IS officer is not merely a distinct magistrate. He is writing the draft for climate protection bill. He is attending the conferences of WTO. He is writing bills on genetics. He is giving on biodiversity. So what they are expecting a person who can wear multiple hats, because the challenges are going to be multifarious. You see any kind of questions, whether even the mains GS1, 2, polity, economic, science and technology, international relations, all what they are seeking your own opinion. Of course, riding on some facts, because you cannot have a total blank opinion. You need to have some facts to set your opinion on. So if you have it in the back of your mind that what is UPSC expecting from you, UPSC is expecting the future public servants, public services, which require a different kind of workforce, different dimensions, different multifarious roles. You are going to be wearing many hats. So your answers should be designed in such way. Okay. If you take the questions on Indian economy, if you take the question on science and technology, what they are expecting you have to be a resource generator, you have to be a system architect, you have to be a navigator. One undercurrent theme of all your answers, that should be, in my opinion, a pooled expertise and humanity. What has happened? What is the major change which has taken place nowadays at the world level in the field of public services? What is that one important thing, one current undercurrent which thrives the entire public service or public service examination activities? Give me a word. I want a word from any of you who can afford to send. Give me a word. Anybody?
Climate change?
Climate change is one of the activities going on. One undercurrent paradigm, undercurrent model which runs through all the activities of public services. That's why you see the nature and the character of the questions of UPSC in general studies, as well as the optionals, have undergone a sea change. That is, remember two things. One thing, the multifarious roles with multiplicity of activities. And another is that, yes, Bharat, very good, multi-dimensional roles which you are supposed to perform. And UPSC, what is the tool in the hands of UPSC? The question papers to understand the mind of the candidate. See, the UPSC has been such an intriguing, interesting institution that earlier they used to play around what the students or the candidates are able to mug up. Now what they are going to do, they are going to dive deep into your deep psyche. Those who have opted optionals, psychology as their optionals, they would be able to connect in a more better way. That now the UPSC is laying a trap for you. So because through one of the papers, they want to have a peek-a-view of what your inner dimensions are. My dear friends, if you feel that my terms are slightly more technical, please ask me. I would try to moderate it to your extent. I mean, all of you are very enlightened students. That's why I'm not moderating it. Okay. Try to understand what I'm trying to say. That UPSC is trying to get the psyche of the candidate writing mains. And they have the tools. They have laid the carpet for you. And I'm moderating it to carpet. I would say they have laid the mines for you. They are throwing the questions at you. And you are being given a word limit and a time limit to handle those questions. So however hard you might try to project the dimension of personality which you are not, will be completely exposed. Okay. So here, be very careful that while you are writing answers, your personal predilections and prejudices, because my dear friend, right now because of the whole deluge of information that all the candidates are exposed to, we are mainly a subjective creatures, and being a subjective creature, writing things in a totally objective way is requires some kind of intelligence. This intelligence I want all of you to keep in mind while attempting any questions. Somebody said very good, multidimensional and integrated approach, very good. Another is very important is the ethical humanism. The humanism which is blended with ethics, the ethical humanism. Keep these three things in your mind and it should reflect in your answers. And I bet you ask me after the results come out, all of you would be richer at least by 20 to 30 marks more than what you could have got it. Because I'm taking you towards those multi-dimensional areas where most of the students are not taken to, right? While writing the answers, what are the things, what your answers should reflect? Don't write what you know or what you have heard about, what you have managed to gather information. Write as per the demands and the dictates of UPSC, but in a very intelligent way. See, all of you are intelligent because you are getting a chance to write means that itself you have proven that level of your intelligence and abilities. Now here, that journey has to be taken forward in a more intelligent manner. This is what I intend to say, because these are the subtle aspects. See, the gross aspects you have plenty. The gross aspect, you have got plenty of materials at your disposal, but the subtleties of the preparation, what the UPSC gets into, because I should not have disclosed it, but please don't share it with publicly, that I have had an opportunity to interact with those who have been a part of those team who are given the chance to frame questions or give the ideations about what should UPSC expect from the candidates this year. See, the way the climate changes, the UPSC's trend also changes. Okay, but for last 4 years, the trend is almost static as well as the dynamic. Dynamic means the dynamism or the dynamics, what they have started out, they continue to follow it. Right? This year, this one essay question, what was that? The process of self-discovery has now been technologically outsourced. Man, I attended so many sessions on essay, how to write an essay, but what to make out of this? The process of self-discovery has been technologically outsourced. You are given the 3 hours to think introspect there in the examination hall itself. The UPSC has thrown a challenge at you. Now you are in a condition where whatever you have accumulated since your childhood, whatever kind of upbringing, whatever the materials that you have studied, the time has come to organize all those thoughts, pull it together and give your best shot. Here, nobody has got an edge. Those think that they had prepared certain topics of essay, so they have got an edge. Here, those sort of things used to exist in our days, that those who had the ability to cram or memorize, they had certain edge. UP has taken out all these things. Okay. Any question, any doubt till now? Have I been able to reach out to each one of you? Man, remember, after mains, you have to face the interview also. So don't be silent. Okay, Gaurav, Bharat. Okay, fine. So these are the things, undercurrents, you keep in your mind while framing answers for UPSC. Right? Now, what I feel that I need to discuss about these 5 papers from essay, GS 1, 2, and 3, 4. Starting with the essay. What is the trend? What is the trend? You can write. What is the trend? The trend is from, very good, philosophical. Rather than philosophical, I would say the trend is from physical to metaphysical. Okay, the dimensions which are visible, the dimensions which are not visible. So the trend is from physical to metaphysical, from objectivity to subjectivity, from fact premises to value premises, okay, from empiricism to normativism, okay, from empiricism to normativism. Your value orientations, you see the trend. The essay paper, even sometimes I get just mind boggled that what are they expecting from that? Like this, earlier you had this normative values. Normative means those values which are held dear by the human beings. Okay. So the empirical studies, the practical studies, like this is a mobile, I'm holding it, nobody can deny it. Okay. This is a mobile, this is empirical. Whether it is good or bad depends upon its features and the values what we attach to it. These are the things. So the trend has been followed in such a way from the physical to metaphysical, which is expecting, UPSC is expecting you to give your creativity the best shot. Okay. What are you studying for essay paper? Anybody? Do you think that essay paper needs to be prepared?
Some quotes.
Some quotes. Okay, very good. Anything? We can begin. It's always better to begin with a quote or a statement that gives incentive to the reader who is going to read. Yeah, focusing more on ethical concepts. This is also good. Anecdote and story. I'll give you some practical examples. There was an essay on the Indo-Pakistan relationship when in my days when I appeared. Those days we were supposed to write just one essay running into 2,000 words. So Indo-Pak relations, past and future challenges. The topic was very simple. I could have chosen some other topic also. Now, how did I start off? It is such a commonplace topic. Everybody has, right from rickshaw puller to the panwala, everybody can give you a lot of opinion on that. It's better that you start your essay with some quote. The quote at that point of time while writing this essay that came to my mind, that when India conducted its Pokhran 1, there was a lot of hullabaloo, there was a lot of cacophony and chaos at the global level. US was very forthcoming in imposing ban because they were feeling that if India has gone for Pokhran 1, it will trigger a nuclear war in the entire subcontinent. Okay. Then the foreign secretary, some guy from US called up Mrs. Gandhi, and he told her, since you have conducted nuclear test in your subcontinent, it will trigger a nuclear warfare. It shall be followed by Pakistan. Then one fine morning, what would happen? That you will get a call that we are going to follow the same thing, and together, me and you, it was told in a very jocular van, jokingly it was said, that they will call you and say that, see, you conducted nuclear test on Wednesday, I'm going to conduct nuclear test on Friday, and we shall all meet in heaven by Sunday. So this statement came to my mind, and I started writing with that. This was narrated by one of the US diplomats. And from there I started writing, and you'll be very glad to know that with an introduction, with the body and the conclusion, I got 171 out of 200. So that was a kind of good marks. When I said it, came out of the examination hall, shared it with my friends, they said, no, you have committed a blunder. These sort of introductions should not have been written there, but you did it. But the UPSC, good thing about UPSC, that it appreciates your creativity. So creativity and ingenuity. And remember one thing, that essay paper is I call it a free paper. Essay paper, don't neglect it. I repeat, I plead with folded hands that do not neglect essay paper. You can take a lead in mains by scoring well, by scoring say 150 plus, or you are scoring higher than other. Because it may happen, this is practically, the practical aspects are that for GS 1 to 4, any candidate, even having prepared well for all the papers, any candidate might have a bad day. This is possible. Okay. So, but if you are focused on writing good essay, then if you are having, heavens forbid if it happens, but generally it happens, that you cannot have the similar symmetrical level of writing in all 4 papers, because by the time you reach the 4th paper, you are mentally, physically exhausted. Okay, that's why. Have you seen the strategy of UPSC? Why they have kept ethics in the 4th paper? Because they know that by the time they are going to write this 4th paper, the whatever is inside will spill over on the papers. They cannot. They can no longer hold it. They can no longer hide it. That's why you have got multiple levels of case studies with you, where you cannot hide it. The real core of your personality would be evident. So do not neglect essay paper. I repeat, and repeat. I'll continue to repeat because the essay paper, in my opinion, is a free paper. You can take a lead, you can take a leverage. But now the question arises. People say, okay, let us prepare for all these GS4 papers because you have got the structured syllabus and everything. You've got the materials all. Essay to likh lenge. Essay to likh lenge. There's not an issue. Essay we will write. No man. Essay has to be written very systematically. The lucid expression, proper structure, organized thoughts, beginning with some quote, some statement, 2 lines. Like I wrote an essay on liberalization. Liberalization was much talked about those days. Then automatically it came to my mind like old order changes, because this was a new economic order was coming to the fore in 1991. Old order changes, yielding place to new, and God fulfills himself in many ways. Okay. Because the new economic order is coming. Okay. So many, the God fulfills itself. God doesn't mean any physical entity or any non-physical entity. God means our society, our culture, our economy, our way of living, all our gradual changes which are about to take place at societal level. So everything is going to witness a change in the form of liberalization. So come, show some creativity, write some creative stuff. It may happen that you may not be able to recall any relevant quotes. What I'm going to share after this session, I will be sharing 10-20 quotes. Those quotes are such that whatever be the nature of the topic, whatever be is expected from the candidates to write on any topic, you can make use of those 10 quotes. Okay. And if you can make use of those 10 quotes, it will give you a proper introduction, and you can certainly have a proper leverage by scoring well in the essay paper. right? Am I clear? Now question is that what are you referring to for that? I would say because you don't have that much of time to build knowledge about all those metaphysical topics. You don't have that much of leverage. But if you can get hold of, this is freely available. There are two things. I don't know how many of you have heard of. There is a writer called Will Durant, W-I-L-L, Durant, D-U-R-A-N-T. Please just go type Will Durant and take a couple of sentences or the quotes and keep in your memory. The Will Durant, because when I found time to analyze where from these topics are coming, there must be a source. Then when I dug deeper into those aspects of these topics, what I found that there are the two sources where UPSC is mainly relying on. The sources are, one is the Will Durant philosophy. Another is The Problems of Philosophy by Bertrand Russell. Bertrand Russell, one of the greatest Western philosophers. So whatever problems he discussed in his books are being given in one sentence or the other, and the UPSC is expecting you to write that. Okay. So I would not extend this UPSC paper further. I shall hop on to the next one. Thereafter, at the fag end today, I'll take up some of the questions what I gave you in polity. If time permits, some questions from economic section also. Okay. So the topic which has been given to me about this 50 days, I make it 49 or 50 days. So the first, from today, the first 4 weeks, first week for General Studies 1, second week for General Studies 2, third week for 3, and the fourth week for the fourth one. Please stick to this schedule. By the end of 38 days, you must have gone through the syllabus of all these General Studies one by one. Now, few practical things. Like, what have you studied, Mrityunjay? Hello? Mrityunjay, are you there? He's not there, I think. What have you been studying for modern India? What have you been studying for modern India?
India's struggle for independence, Bipan Chandra's.
Bipan Chandra, India's struggle for independence. Very good, very good. Anything else? Anybody? This is Harshit. Harshit, you answered?
Yes, sir.
Okay, Harshit, tell me, what is STS?
Struggle, true struggle, the Gandhian policy for active and passive basis.
Very good, very good. I'm impressed. Very good. See, this India struggle for independence is such a massive book that there are only 2 books which I have kept still in my library. After it has been 2 decades, I stopped preparing. One is India struggle for independence. Another is The Wonder That Was India, A.L. Bhasan. Okay. So if you have gone through this modern India, you have gone through the text, it's well and good, because that exposes to the all social, economic, cultural, political dimensions of our entire modern India. Those who have gone through, they're already having an edge, because if any kind of question is thrown at you, you would be able to handle it in a way. But for factual elements, some materials must have been given to the candidates by the institution, by the institute. So those factual questions, because you need to have an amalgamation of both the factual as well as the opinion-based questions. So you need to strike a balance between these 2 aspects as far as the modern India culture are concerned. For the second paper, the governance, polity, social justice, and international relations, I know that I don't need to repeat all those things, what you have read, you have been told, or what you have been hearing about. One thing I can share you, here this second paper reflects the true amalgamation of static and current. You remember it? Now, coming to the one of the questions, what I gave you in your model paper, one question I had framed, endless blabbering. All of you appeared for this? Hello? All of you took this model test paper on Indian polity?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. One question, I said that the second GS paper is the perfect amalgamation of static and the dynamics. Indian polity, ever changing, ever evolving. The question I framed that endless blabbering of the press, particularly electronic media, are activated by the self-interest of the media empires, which needs a fine balancing between the power of media vis-a-vis the freedom of press. Critically analyzed. Coincidentally, you might have noticed it, our Chief Justice of India making a similar kind of statement that this electronic media, they are holding their own trial. They are trying to subconsciously or forcefully influence the activities of judiciary. So whatever is the syllabus of your Indian polity and governance and public policy, because the public policy, the thread of policy, economic policy, social, political, cultural will just flow through in all the papers. If you have been reading the Hindu, remember, you read the Hindu, get your opinion, but don't allow the Hindu to color your opinion. Because all of you have noticed one thing, that it is basically the leftist ideology is more predominant or preponderant. If you read Hindu, I have been reading Hindu since 1991, but I did not allow them to color my political philosophy. So what do? You should be in a position to distinguish the chaff from the grain, because it gives you, it exposes you to the opinion, but go for those only opinion which is not colored by any particular philosophy, political or economic, right? This third week you can go for the GS3, and the fourth week especially for ethics, integrity and attitude. Hello. Now, I want to take some questions from one question I already took. One question, most of the questions from politics section are very common. A few questions which apparently appear to me not so common, I am taking them up. Like one question was, the constitution and the political foundation of the constitution are constantly changing. Discuss with relevant examples of the political events across the globe. Yes. What did you write about it? Anybody can give me some idea? The constitution and the political foundations of the constitution are constantly changing. What do you mean by that?
Sir, this is Vikash.
Yeah, please.
I wrote about the present scenario where we are the changing dynamics across various countries and how they are shaping their constitution, like the recent Chile upheaval and the political foundation that led to development of new constitution in Chile, followed by the other the Chinese agendas of socialism and welfare, and how they developed their constitution, and how it has been going on in past and how it is going even in present.
Very good. This is Vikram. This came from Vikram Joshi?
Not yet, sir.
Okay, because it was blinking. Who answered this question? I was unable to see the name.
Dhanush, sir.
Oh, very good. Dhanush. Very good, very good. Yes, Vikram.
Yeah, sir. So I mentioned how geopolitical developments have been influential in certain changes. For instance, recently Japan and Germany came out of their pacifist foreign policies or disarmament that was advocated in the constitution.
Right, right.
Or how in Russia and China the limits on the tenure of the heads of state or head of government have been abolished.
Very good. Why you are forgetting Sri Lanka?
Certainly, sir. That's something that should have been mentioned.
Okay. Very good, very good. I'm actually impressed to get it from all of you. Yeah, India focused towards fundamental duties. Okay, great. Very good. I understand, because I would like to see those answer scripts. I have asked the institute to send me some of them so I can see. So generally, I would just like to elaborate upon it. Both of you have started on quite well that this constitution, earlier it was considered to be, once the constitution is made, it will exist for many more decades. but it never happened because it witnesses a lot of dynamisms in each and every society, in each and every country. And our constitution is also no exceptions to that, because the first amendment was effected within a few months after it came into force, right? But the things which I want to put across here, that the paradigms of public policies, okay, the paradigms of public policy and the nature and the coordinament of those public policies, basically they are emanating from the sacred document called the Constitution. But now the Constitution itself is under so much of pressure, and because of it is under so much pressure, the political foundations or the political structure or the political institution which are drawing its strength from the Constitution, they are also being shaken by these developmental changes, right? So now what happens that how this becomes, the Constitution has to remain relevant, how a Constitution of any society continues to be the symbol of the society for which the society stands for. How you are going to converge all those multifarious opinions to strike a rallying point for reform. Okay, wherever, everywhere, these things are happening. And these political questions, what I get to see in our GS paper 2, sometimes it really gives me a very soothing feeling that those who have been framing the question and those which is being expected from the candidates to answer the questions, basically their understanding of the polity, their understanding of the governance, their understanding of the rights are being put to test. But my dear friends, I'm very happy to note that the 2-3 answers which I got, few answers I got through the chat section, it has really enthused me, right? So the political character, just a little bit of elaboration. So the political character, the political social roles, and the links to the different parts of the society, especially the economic aspects, as well as the historical aspects. These are the factors shaping our constitutions and the constitutional thought. Okay. Another question, what I feel that I needed to discuss here, there's Nolan principles of public life. Answer me, how many of you had heard about this Nolan principles of public life before that date? How these Nolan principles of public life, they are impacting? Okay, Bharat read it in the ethics paper. Very good, very good. Very good. So these Nolan principles of public life and how they are affecting our legislation. So I think this is a very common question. If you have heard about the Nolan principles, Nolan gave 7 principles about which are basically the parameters to be in public life and what is expected out of a civil servant. The sense of integrity, objectivity, selflessness, these things are, and anybody can answer me that how is the parliament trying to implement it? Any question? Any side? Accountability, openness, honesty, and leadership. How the certain changes which have been taken at executive level and the certain legislations which have been passed by state legislatures and the parliament, how they are accommodating the Nolan principles of public life in India. Okay. Yeah. Hello. Hello. Very good. Yes, very good. Gaurav, very good. Civil Services Code of Conduct 1964, RTI Act for sure. And then some states have passed this Lokayukta bills and all. So these are basically the implementations of Nolan principles of public life in India. If time permits, we can take another question. What was there? I picked up these questions randomly because I feel that these can be put here. The another question was, the Constitution is preeminently the management of disagreements about exercise of power. Okay. Constitution is preeminently the management of disagreements about exercise of power, because you know that the Constitution in a multi-ethnic society, multicultural society like ours, there's fundamentally different views have to converge at a place. Okay. And the Constitution is the only way where we can uphold this rule of law and establish just and fair society. These are some of the things what I needed to discuss, some of the questions I picked up. Now, listen, my dear friends, that as far as the preparation strategy is concerned, using a very cliche term that it's not a rocket science. Now, this is open to you because there are the certain basic parameters and the factors I was inclined to discuss with all of you. Now, I want, if you are facing any particular area or particular level of preparation, if you are facing some difficulty or problem, let me know. For the next half an hour, I want it to be totally interactive, nothing from my side. I would only respond to your queries. But the queries have to be generic. Don't put me like this asking any question, sir, why is this deflation running along? Yeah, come on.
Good evening, sir. I'm Harshit.
Yeah, Harshit.
Sir, actually, I have a confusion between which part of my answer I have to give more weightage, whether it's the explanation or the objectivity in the answer. So, like making more number of points or making some concept more clear in the answer.
Very good question, Harshit. See, Harshit, what I felt when I was speaking to some of the toppers, they admitted to me that writing like this point wise, firstly, secondly, fourthly, trying to be more objective in nature, okay, and ending with your opinion, which is rational, logical, and acceptable to anybody. For an example, I'll take some questions I have got. I can take any question. I'll take it. Okay. So what do? Your emphasis should be on objectivity. Any question. One question I want to give you, like from modern India, is was partition inevitable? Discuss and substantiate with arguments. Now, if you have the background of your modern India, if you understand the circumstances in which the partition took place, okay, remember here, you have to be objective that what are the circumstances, because you have no control over those circumstances. Nobody had, right? And then coming to that, you can give your opinion if the circumstances necessitated this cleavage of this country or the partition of the country, but there might have been certain things. If we start for some more time, delayed, or geopolitical conditions at a global level or in this subcontinent might have undergone a sea change. Okay, but these questions are kind of dicey in nature. I just give you an example. Whenever you are picking up or attempting to write any question, try to pack that answer with as many objective facts as you remember. Okay, and based on that objective things, come to that conclusion. Because see, when you are coming to the last part of the answer, it is without you saying for it, without you watching for it, it is your subjective opinion, right? So yes, try to give a balanced approach. I have elaborately discussed it because many students lose out because of this a sense of practicality, because of the sense of diplomacy in writing answers. I have quoted this example. The question was, discuss the factors behind the growth of communism. And suppose you are wedded to a particular ideology, and then person wrote 60 reasons behind the growth of communism, in which he wrote many more things, quoting about the activities of Bajrang Dal and all these things. I have nothing against them. I'm just an example I'm quoting. And all these fringe elements, he kept on writing, and then he lost out. He got 60 out of 300 in that paper. So be very, very, very careful. Remember, what you write in 3 hours will make or break the situation.
Yes. Yeah. Thank you, sir.
Okay. Next. Like for this ethics paper, if I can see. Yeah. See, one question here is that what are the challenges to our cultural practices in the name of secularism? See, basically, secularism, now that we have got many schools of philosophy, they feel that there is nothing like secularism. But we're talking about this multilateralism and the growth of a global thought pattern. When you see the growth of global thought patterns nowadays, during last 7-8 years, what I'm seeing in changes in Eastern Europe, Western Europe, parts of America, Asia, that secularism as a concept is being debunked. I read so many political philosophers, they say there is nothing like secularism. India, in fact, it chose to call itself a secular country because of the regions, different regions. It should not have called itself. So now, if you are having, this is the question I am reading from the question bank of UPSC only. These sort of questions, once they appear, be very careful. Because these questions have no definite answers. That is the most important fundamental trend I have been witnessing in UPSC. When the questions having no definite answer, try to stick the way a future public servant should speak or a future public servant should think. Here, this is an element of diplomacy or the practicality. Yeah. Anybody else? Yeah, V. Junior, Vikram Joshi, Raghu Nandana. I would not leave till I get at least one question from all of you. That's the condition. Or any help that you want from me for your mains preparation? Yeah.
Hello, sir.
Yeah, tell me.
So this is Vikram here. So
Yeah.
you just mentioned about such questions. For instance, what are challenges to cultural practices in
Yeah.
the name of secularism? So can you just throw some insight into the thought process of UPSC as to what is it that they are expecting from the aspirant when they ask such questions?
I think Vikram, you joined lately, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, because the first hour was spent in elaborating only. The delving, the topic itself was the delving deep into the psychology of UPSC.
Okay.
But even then, I would briefly summarize it for you. So listen, man, just keep it in your minds. How does a public servant of 21st century behave? Okay, you have to take everybody along. Okay, for you, the personality doesn't matter. The impersonality of your office matters. Impersonality, not the personality. The impersonal character of your office. Okay, respecting the values enshrined in our constitution. Then behaving like entrepreneur, social scientist, developmental architect, because you are writing about the public policy for environmental impact assessment. You are writing about the biodiversity. You are writing about the social problems. Everything emanates and ends with you. So your answers should be framed or should be fitting into that framework. If you are exceeding beyond it, if you are letting your personal preferences or opinion color your answers, it means you are jeopardizing your chances. Why I have repeatedly told this fact today to all of you, because I have seen it many meritorious students getting carried away. Let us not get carried away. Your purpose is to write so you can pass, score well in the examination hall. So the framework you understand. And remember, these 250 words, 150 words, you don't have that much of liberty. Okay, try to punch in as many facts as possible. And conclusion, very two-liner conclusion. Two-liner introduction, two-liner conclusion, and the main body of the answer should be packed with facts. I read, somebody showed me a model answer of one of the IAS toppers. I was simply amused at how this childish way of writing can get him so much of marks. What he did, no opinion, only the facts, and an opinion which would be generally acceptable. Yeah. Chandan is asking that should we be practical or ideal in ethics case studies? Okay. So listen, Chandan, this practical and ideal situation could also be practical situation, you know. So what I will say, like what you consider to be practical, okay, may not be ideal for that particular situation. So because the ideal and type, they are complementary, at the same time they cancel each other. Okay, in the philosophical genre I'm talking about. So what you do when you are having the case studies, again, think like a bureaucrat, but not with those bureaupathological behavior. Think like a person who is wanting to join civil services. And the one who is wanting to join the civil services, so what he is expected to follow the basic parameters of our social values, our constitutional values. What I would say, our constitutional values, what we have studied or seen, rather studied, seeing is different experience, that must reflect in your answers. Like if you are completely your practical situation or the ideal situation might be different. And then how to integrate answers with different dimensions with examples. Rajkumar, basically, this would be more applicable as far as the optional are concerned. The reason being that here you don't have that much of liberty to integrate different dimensions. But try, if any question is having many parameters or different dimensions, choose the top 3 dimensions. Do not try to fill it up with only dimensions or different perspectives or ideas. Okay, choose the most important 3 dimensions, and that will fetch you good marks.
Hello,
Yeah, Chandan.
sir. This is
Yeah.
Chandan.
Yes.
Sir, last time I had faced case studies where
Yeah.
the situation was the officer was repeatedly being transferred
Mhm.
every 3 months.
Mhm.
So being someone who wants to serve the people,
Mhm.
staying at a place
Mhm.
at least an year or 2 years would let him serve the people.
Mhm.
But if he gets repeatedly transferred every 2 or 3 months,
Mhm.
wouldn't he be able to serve the main thing what he came for?
See,
So
it is also the Ministry of Personnel has
the
also.
dilemma was, should
Yeah.
I compromise myself?
See,
Yes, sir.
Chandan,
Go on, sir.
yeah, see, I think it's not at all a dilemma. Because if you say that should I
Yes, sir.
quit as I'm being frequently transferred, it means that is showing off the weaknesses of the personality. The person, he is ready to succumb to temptations or pressures. Again, I tell you, that this is the catch, this is the trap the UPSC is laying out for you. You should not fall into that. Come whatever be the circumstances, right? There are many bureaucrats who are following all the ethical dimensions of public life, and they are being harassed. Because see, in a country of 1.4 billion people, you cannot expect everything to fall in place in the right manner. But here, if the person is facing dilemma that is being frequently transferred, despite he wanting to serve the society, despite he carrying out the duties what he has been assigned, he firstly what he tries to do, he should try to do. He should not even think of quitting. Otherwise, it will encourage those vociferous tendencies. It will encourage those elements, and that would set off a chain reaction for those who are likely to face the same consequences,
Yes,
who are
sir.
being punished despite serving well. So here in this case, there is no dilemma. And how a young person who is wanting to be a civil servant, even he
Yes,
should
sir.
not even think about it. It is not at all a dilemma. I'll stick to that. Okay. What we can say that he can
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
approach his superiors
Yes,
in
sir. Yes, sir.
authority.
Thank you.
Now, I give you one case study that came to me. It was not asked, a model paper. Some religious procession is passing by, right? Some religious procession is passing by.
Yes, sir.
It is being managed by a person belonging to a particular community, and the procession is of different community as compared to the officer who is managing this. and some members of the procession committee, they are laying some baseless allegations against him that he's not doing his things well. He's not doing his things well because he belongs to a different committee. Because he belongs to a very different
Chandan,
committee.
kindly mute. Chandan, kindly mute. Chandan. Yeah.
Yeah. Did you get the question? A religious procession is to be managed. It is being managed by a person belonging to a different community than the procession. The procession organizers are laying some blame at him that he's being biased in his approach because he belongs to a different community. Now, what is the ethical dilemma of the person? Tell me, anybody? Because when you are in public place, remember why we are called public servant. When you are a public servant, you are always in the public eye. People would always try to find some folly with you. They would always try to lay blame at you. Okay, but you should not succumb to it. Factually, see, because these are the opinions of the organizers. Their opinions are not backed with any facts. Suppose they have got some documentary evidence, incriminating evidence that the person was in a telephonic conversation saying this time I would see to it how the processions are arranged. So if there are only allegations not backed by any evidence, documentary evidence or otherwise, and it is affecting the morale of the person there should not allow his morale to be affected by all these baseless allegations. Otherwise, if you are in public service, you will continue to get this. The brick, you would not get a bouquet, you get the bricks only. Okay. So these are the practical circumstances which would be coming, and they are giving you the case studies. Give your opinion, but don't give your opinion totally colored by your prejudices. And remember this, in one hint I want to give you, 2 papers where you can score a maximum, but I don't know the reasons why the students are not faring that well in GS paper 4. I'm just trying to dig into that because they feel, okay, when they look at the syllabus, actually there is no syllabus except the first part where you have got some questions which anybody can answer. Now the essay paper and the GS4, please my dear friends, focus on that. If you can score very high in these 2 papers, you are through. And these 2 papers are being largely, I have seen and heard, neglected by the candidates. Okay? Anybody else? Sanjay? Can you hear me? Yeah. I think the basic parameters or the basic paradigms or the paradigmatic shifts or the preparation strategy needed for mains, what I needed to discuss briefly, because see, I don't want to sound like a cliched speaker. No, that for this mains you read the Hindu, and for economic survey, the agriculture survey, our students know everything. Okay. So only those things which are not written in magazines or the website, I had it in my mind to discuss with them. But I'm always open to help them out. All of them, you can distribute my mail ID. Tell them if they are facing any kind of difficulties, I'm open to them. And I want to see that all of them get calls for interview. Once you get the calls for interview, I can promise that all of you will get a post. This because Mishra can assure you. I have authored a book on how to face interview. I have conducted thousands of interviews. And my success ratio, I can proudly claim, is 100%. Whomsoever I have trained for interview has never failed in any examination. So, dear candidates, all the best to all of you. And you want to reach out to me, you can reach out to me. You can take my number and mail from Mr. Jain. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. After hearing that session, I was watching that I will write mains again. But now the attempts are over. And even when I heard that 100% hit rate in interview,
yeah.
I wish I had met you earlier. Thanks, sir. That was so inspiring. I was listening throughout the session, sir. You opened up many blocks from the heads of our candidates. Thank you so much, sir. And they'll be looking forward to meet you in person. When you come over to institution, sir, I'll inform them. And also, during the interview process, sir, we'll have a collaboration and see to it that all of them will get through, sir.
Yeah, all the best to all the candidates and do well. And anything that you need from me, I'm always open. Thank you. Thank you, Mrityunjay, for hosting such an interesting session with all our future public officers, IAS officers, IFS, IPS. Okay, take care, all of you. Thank you.